What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. Yeah, your girl is back. Not 100%. I'm somewhere around 78%. I think I'm feeling 78%, y'all. What started out as the sniffles ended up being a full on thing. Your girl was down for the count, but I'm back and I'm here. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm late, I realize that. And I feel like for those of you who know me, are going to give me some grace and y'all going to enjoy this conversation anyway, because that's what we do over here. We get over here, we get a little kiki, and yeah, we talk about these ladies. It's the Real Housewives of Potomac. It's season, where are they at? Season 10, episode 8. I think that's what it is. Y'all know what it is. Anyway, did y'all enjoy the episode? Listen, it's been a lot of talk out here this past week about these ladies over here in Potomac. Maybe, well, when I say ladies, I mean all the angels, all the faces the angels be over here serving. Yeah, she been out here in these streets trying to, I don't know, make herself out to be happy and perfect and, nothing like what we're seeing over here. She might be happy. It ain't giving happy. I feel like, as Monique has shown us this episode, that just because y'all over here faking like you happy don't mean you actually are. Now, her and Bobby are over here with these two beautiful children. When I tell you, these kids are so adorable. Wish we could see a little bit more of that. The little kids always have a lot of personality. I know my little one is over here serving all types of personality. Quick story over the week. So he just turned 1 in October, and you bring the baby home and you try, mama. That's where I've been at with him ever since he walked in the door. I've been encouraging this child to say mama. He say it every now and then, but over the weekend he has discovered her government name, and he's been walking around the house saying Kylie, and it just cracks me up because it's like he's mocking me. Like however I say her name, that's how he says her name. So in the midst of all the uh I don't know what you call it, sickness, that I've been going through this past week, my joy is watching him walk around say Kylie. It's hilarious. Anyway, yeah, I feel like the babies have a lot of personality, and her babies are little, but I saw Angel on Claudia Jordan's and Erica, I can't remember what the name of it, Inconfirmed, Uninformed, or whatever the name their podcast is. She was over there, and it felt like Claudia was trying to help her out. Claudia and Erica were both trying to help her out, but she's determined to be off-putting, and she's determined to try to tell us and present to us something other than what we're getting. It's editing. It's, when people leave the show where they can't blame editing. She was at BravoCon. She was over there on there. She's been around, still giving that starky, stank ass, sour puss ass attitude and saying she's happy. They said Wendy talks down on people. This one does talk down on people too. Let's get into it. There's so much to say about Miss Angel. We ain't gonna start with her though. So we left off over at the Pride celebration that what's her name? Ashley Darby was having. She's still, we're hanging out. They in the middle of a conversation. I believe Monique just walked in, and as soon as she walks in, Kieran wants to be seen over here being messy, telling Monique that Stacy, is it Stacy? Don't you know Monique? Monique is like, I don't be nowhere. So no, I don't know her. Stacy's like, nah. Giselle's like, no, that's Chris. Oh, yeah. How did you go from Stacy and Monique knowing each other to, all of a sudden the light bulb went off in your head and you realized that it was that Stacy was dating Chris. That's what it was. And just like I figured, Monique was like, we've been divorced for 2 years almost. So I'm assuming that he's dating, and from what the internet is saying, Monique is out here dating too. Some man that quite possibly still be married, but that's a different story altogether. I don't know what Kiana thought she exposed. She says Stacy have a way of making people think she's away, but I know Stacy. And I was like, think she's what type of way? The type of way that might find some man around Potomac that's a former NFL, big, good looking man, and you want to might go on a date with him possibly because TJ was a flop and your husband and you are divorced. When I tell you Timu and Chris Samuels couldn't be more different. If she had at first I was like, did she smash Chris Samuels? I don't know. I don't know that Chris Samuels is her type. Not if Timo is her type, but maybe she don't have a type. According to Monique, Chris wasn't putting it down no type of way. So maybe that's why she ain't really over here worried about what he's doing. If he wasn't doing it for Monique, he wasn't doing it for Stacy. But they're similar, like there's the same similar complexion, same stature, tiny little ladies. So it wouldn't surprise me if he would be interested in Stacy. Stacy's pretty. And she got a personality. It's entertaining, that's for damn sure. Anyway, they're standing there because what's this girl, Ashley, is so bothered. Stacy, I just wanted to talk to you because when you told me about your cannabis brand, I was so thrown off by the Nigerian name. It's Ibu. You don't even know what is Ibu. And isn't Ashley the one when NECA was over here bringing back Ibu conversations about things that had Wendy want to slap her out her teeth? So now you're all well versed. Like since you made such a big mistake before, I guess Ashley went home and did her study to find out about the culture. Not because it's not a culture she's interested in at all. She just wants to come for Stacy. It's like chasing Bambi with bricks. You know what I'm saying? And clearly they miss. So there you go. Angel chimes in, child. Stacy, she wants to know the social justice component of Stacy's business, if there is one. The social justice component. We're talking about gummies, aren't we? That's the first question you want to know is about the social justice component. Not about like, well, did you bring any with you so we could try some, see what we think? She would never. I mean, obviously she's what do you call it? Nursing her children. So I'm not saying this lady would partake or whether she's nursing or not. That might not be her thing. But seems such an odd question to ask somebody about their business, the social justice component about cannabis, especially when we stand in here in rainbow tie-dye shirts with titties out. Girl, she's just so out of place. She wants to make, a serious conversation over here at the Pride, where we're over here slinging booties around and dancing on floats. Stacy ignored her. I don't blame her. Girl, we don't even like each other like that. Why would I want to sit down and have a conversation with you about my social justice take on things? That ain't what we're about to do right now. So they get on the float. It's a GNA float. GNA stands for various things, meaning whatever Ashley and Giselle come up with. Giselle didn't even know about the float. I think Giselle has a lot going on, and GNA ain't one of them. Y'all be making stuff up for, the show. Nobody ever took. Whew, I'm sorry. That came out of nowhere. Nobody ever took Giselle and Ashley's business seriously anyway. But after they get off the float, they go have a sit down because, Monique is here. And we came over here to get in her business about what happened with her and Chris. Because when we left you last, you was over there with a binder book, cussing people out. Now you're over here. And then you went over to D.C. and you told everybody in D.C., ready to love, not ready to love, love and marriage, DC. Owning these titles sound the same. Anyway, you went over there to DC and you were letting us all know how you tired of this man and he is not filling your cup, Vicky Gunvalson. So, and we believe you because, based on what we see, Chris is a big old football player, former from Alabama, who would like for somebody to wife, wash, iron, food, and entertainment. I'm gonna keep on saying that. She wants to be entertained too. So she sits down with them and Her and Monique are playing nice with each other. It was like a moment of, hey, I enjoyed your company today. They don't like each other, but I feel like they're bonding over their mutual dislike of Candace. So since we both hate Candace, we'll figure out a way to sit here and be cordial with one another. That way we can film and piss her off. Wendy was like, so Giselle, I mean, not Giselle, so Monique, like, what's the update on Chris? What do you mean update? They're divorced. She just said it's been almost 2 years. If you would just, there's so many other ways she could have said that. How's life now, as a single mom? You want to ask specifically about Chris. We're divorced. That's the update. But, Monique is here for the shits, and she knows that that's why they asked her back over here, besides all the castmates going to jail and then pulling, out of everywhere to figure out something to do. But Monique said they had a facade. It was a public image that she was putting on over there. And I was like, doesn't everyone do that? Like, we don't really walk around. Some people do. Some people, what's going on with them. Shout out to Leticia Pearson, making whole shows about how much her husband entertains other women and things of that nature. But that for the most people in relationships, you don't go around publicly announcing all the ups and downs. I don't remember how many years they were together, 10, 11, but that's a long time, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. And I feel like there's supposed to be a public persona of your relationship because nobody wants to be bothered with all your shit. Everybody has their own shit and they don't really, it's just much nicer for us to, if we're going to have to deal with you, you ever go out with that couple that wants to fight while you out? Nobody want to be bothered with them. We want the public image version. Look at how wonderfully Eddie and Wendy are over here putting on a public image. But, she said she wasn't being loved properly. And she said nobody told her that when you marry someone, it can get worse. What do you mean get worse? Was it good in the beginning and then it turned bad? Or she didn't say that. She said it could get worse. Getting worse means it was already bad to start with, Monique. So why did you marry this man? People have reasons for why they matrimony to each other. Is it religion? Your religion says that, y'all can't bazoing zoing unless you're matrimony to each other. I don't think that was it. Was it money? There's always, I feel like that's a bonus regardless. Everybody has some money, all parties involved. If everybody got some money, then we can all work on that soft life that everybody seems to be talking about so often. Is it family? Did you marry him? Because I feel like when Monique and Chris got together, she was at that age, probably late 20s, early 30s. It was time to start making babies and doing all the things that women are told that they're here for, that's what the Lord designed you for. They pull the rib out and put you here to serve this husband. Well, she didn't want to do it anymore. And all these things that she's looking for, like this fulfillment that she wasn't getting over there in her marriage. I'm just, dissecting the things that she decided to say over here at a table full of strangers and Giselle. Was he doing the things like before you licensed yourself to him? I hear this often because when I'm standing behind the chair and I hear women talk about their husbands and they say things like, he never remembers my birthday, or I come in here and get my hair done and he won't even notice. And was he this guy before? Because if this is the stuff that was, going to make you happy, going to fill your cup, Vicky Gundelson, then maybe, this is the thing that you should have been focused on. Marrying a man in the limelight and stepping into your own. I could see, especially at that age, like it's like a recipe for a perfect storm. You know what I'm saying? Unless some of these things are established already. You didn't have your own, he had his own. And you came into your own after you married the money and found the TV show. Because you wouldn't be over here on this platform had you not married yourself to a football player, over here, Potomac, Maryland area, DC, what have you. I don't know, girl. I can see, like I said, it's a recipe for a perfect storm. He's used to being in the limelight, and I think there's a certain type of energy that goes with that. I think some of the football players that I have run across in my lifetime definitely found themselves to be the star, and they wanted you to stand beside and watch them shine. That's kind of the energy. Then I said the ones I've run across. I'm not saying that's all of them, but I think it's like I said, it lends itself into this type of man. And now you're over here and you're finding your space with this TV show, and he's probably saying just what I said. You wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for me, type of things. These are the type of conversations that happens behind the scenes when you're not in the public image. You know what I'm saying? You're in your real life. And he's over here not doing the things that you claim you needed. I don't, like I said, were you getting at the beginning? Because you said things get worse. You didn't say everything started out so good and he used to be so attentive, and then along the way, things dropped off. You didn't say that. You said sometimes when you marry it, it gets worse. Okay, girl. Anyway, people change. Wife don't change. Wife is always going to be washing, ironing, food, and entertainment. And by entertainment, I mean sex. So, Tia asked, what was the straw? Y'all just don't mind getting all up in the business. What was the straw that broke the Monique's back? Monique said he was always acting nice when he wanted something. And so she said she decided that, if she gave him a little hootie coochie, then she wanted to see if that's, the only reason why he was being nice to her. So she slid him over there and let him have some. And then he rolled over and left her there laying like a piece of meat. And she thought about it that night, and she woke up in the morning. She told him, you will never enter me again. Dramatic. Just like Monique likes to be. Cool story. And the chapter is closed. And so they're not entering. He's not entering her no more. None of that is a thing. Now, I don't know why she felt like she needed to share things so graphically. There's a way she could have did it, but Monique knew that at some point this was going to air and Chris was going to see exactly what she said. And so that being said, I'm not sure why we're all up in arms about this conversation that she said she was over here feeling like a piece of meat. Now, I didn't hear bad sex, but if I feel like a piece of meat and I'm not going to let you enter me ever again, I'm feeling like that. And that's how she felt. So, yeah, they're done. They're finished. And that's the update. Bobby and Angel. Bobby and Angel go look at houses that they're not going to buy. Look, I just finished watching Selling the OC, and this house ain't it. And then we see pictures of their Colorado home. So why they sitting over here next to some caged ducks? Why do people have ducks in a cage? What are they doing with them? She wants to sit down with Bobby at this house that they're not going to buy. Bobby, how many houses have we looked at? Oh, hundreds. I don't know. I've lost count. Where does this one fall in the category? It falls in no. No. Unless it's sitting on them 5 acres you said you wanted. No. The furniture wasn't even nothing about that house. Like I said, I was watching Selling OC, and I feel like the house they live in Colorado is on that level. Selling Sunset, selling any of these what's his name, Mauricio, and then when they go through these houses, you'd be like, ooh, look at the bathroom, ooh, look at the shower. I was looking at this house like, Bobby can't even walk through here. The beams is gonna knock him over the head. Ceilings is low. So yeah, I don't know. We just came over here to talk about catfish again because that's the only thing that Angel wants to talk about over here. She wants to sit down and talk about how this lady called her catfish, except for she wants to blame Wendy for it, which is freaking weird. Angel, Bobby knows you're a catfish. He's seen those pictures. You got everybody photoshopped, the baby photoshopped, he photoshopped, your cousin photoshopped. Everybody in the picture is photoshopped because you're unhappy with the way you look in your pictures. And I mean, that's a you issue. Stop getting your picture taken, girl. I have pictures Obviously photoshopped. I don't think it's gonna be something that people are gonna be like, oh my god, she photoshopped her picture. Except when you see me in person, it's not like I look like somebody different. I'm not a catfish. Angel, you're a catfish. And I can't imagine, like, you're like, hey, this is this time me and my family went bowling and we did things. And I'm not talking about the Snapchat filter where the dog's tongue comes out, because I feel like we were all fascinated with those. I was the one with the kitty ears. For, I think, a year, I made videos with kitty ears on it because I thought that was a cute filter. I'm not talking about that. Everybody knows I don't have kitty ears. I'm talking about the ones where you're somewhere and you're posed up against things. It's okay to smooth it out, but girl, who is that? Now you want to sit up here and act irritated that people said something to you. Bobby must never say it. One thing he must never do is call her a catfish. She said it was disrespectful. That's how she felt. Bobby is like, is it really that serious? Do we really, like, y'all are friends or what have you? I thought, why do we have to talk about these pictures that don't look like you? Now you got Bobby sitting up here like stumbling over what to say or not say. Bobby, just keep your mouth shut. I think it was supposed to be disrespectful. That's what happens when you over here trying to pledge with Big Sister Almighty. Speaking of which, Giselle and Angel and Kiana and Tia meet up for lunch. And Janelle announces that what's the Shady podcast, positively shady, whatever. They've reasonably shady. They have 10 million downloads. Downloads, is that views? Are people downloading it, or I don't know? I've never seen reasonably shady. I think I looked it up a couple times a few years ago. They'll say something stupid and then it gets, goes viral. But I guess somebody's watching or listening to Robin and Giselle talk about whatever it is they're talking about. Anyway, they're nominated for an NAACP award, and I'm wondering, based on what? Is it numbers? Is it because she's got 10 million downloads? Because um, anytime Robin and Giselle's name is associated with blackness, it's always negative. It's always the colorism of it all. These are the brown paperback bag test people over here. So I'm just wondering, like, NAACP, like, if it's downloads, then that's a thing. That's an actual factual thing. Whether I watch it or not, 10 million people think they like it. So, and the rest of us are confused. I know who don't like it. I know who Eminem don't like it, and he want these ladies to stop. But Eminem, I think it's a rap. 10 million people know about Shady, reasonably shady. And nobody thinks about Slim Shady. So it's annoying. I have to be, as much as I get on my nerves, Team Giselle and Robin with this. Eminem, nothing over here is associated with you. We ain't thought about you, not as it relates to this. So Kiana chimes in, as she often does, to talk about business that's not hers. She wants to let the ladies know that after they left the, Pride Parade, she was on the phone with Cookie. I question anybody that's in a friendship with Cookie. All y'all who are related or connected somehow to Cookie is on bullshit. That's what I believe, and I'm gonna stick, to my feeling about that. Kiana, including you. So you was talking to Cookie, and while you're talking to Cookie, isn't this so ironic how they left the luncheon where Monique just told them about how she's not going to let that man inside her again, and then she talks to Cookie, and while she's talking to Cookie, coincidentally, Chris Samuels called over there mad, but it wasn't in 10 minutes. The girl said 10 minutes later. That's how all this happened. And Chris Samuels called Cookie. Why? What is he calling Cookie for? Chris, I was questioning you too. What is your relationship with Cookie like? It's so gossipy to me that a dude will be calling this lady. He ain't trying to take her nowhere. Child, she looked like his sister. Is she one of those? Is Cookie running around here talking about Chris Daniels is like a brother to her? Because I can't stand them fake sister brother people. They get on my damn nerves. Sleeping with each other, trying to pretend like they just cool friends. Anyway, Chris is upset because he heard from Stacy allegedly that Monique was talking trash about him. She kind of was. Like everything she said wasn't something that he would want to hear, and he ain't gonna like it. But clearly she don't give a damn, or she wouldn't have said it. So if it was a secret, then there's that. And did Stacy run out and call Chris immediately after that? Maybe. I don't know, Monique. I don't know who called Chris. I'm not convinced it's Stacy, but what I'm saying is if it is Stacy, Chris is her friend, not Monique. And so I'm calling Chris and I'm saying, child, I just left for dinner with your ex-wife. I just met her today. She was over there talking about how you was a trashy sex. Made her feel like a piece of meat. If that conversation happened, I don't care. I don't see anything wrong with it. Not the way, oh my God, Monique was over here opening, being vulnerable with us. Is that what she was doing? Well, she should know better than that because y'all ain't somebody I would want to be vulnerable with. She know better. She trying to be a solid on this show. Next season, she might just get her champagne flute back. That's a good check. And then, she got bills to pay over there with all them animals and things. Anyway, do y'all think Stacey was wrong if she called Chris? If she called him, was she wrong for that? I don't know. I don't feel no ways about it. I don't think Monique do either. Monique knew exactly what she was doing when she said that. That's why she was so dramatic about it. Anyway, she meets up with Wendy. Monique does. Monique and Wendy didn't really get a chance to know each other last season because, not last season, but the last season that Monique was there, her and Wendy, the fight happened and then, Wendy was Candace's friend and, then people stopped filming with her. And so they didn't get a chance to form any type of bond. Monique asked her how was her and Giselle, and Wendy was like, me and Giselle's our friends now. I really feel like I consider her my friend, and maybe you and Giselle should have a conversation. And I feel Monique with this one. She was like, I feel like I can have forgiveness without having a relationship. Like, I forgive you. We can, do whatever it is we do, but we won't need to be calling each other up for, cooking advice or dating, going on double dates or anything like that. But she said, yeah, she thinks they should talk. I guess it'll make for a scene. We'll see what happens. Wendy uploads Monique on the whole Stacy situation and Karen situation. She let her know that Karen basically dogged her out and didn't she stood there with Karen the whole time, and then when she got to the reunion, Karen thanked everybody but her. And she said Karen's representative in this whole season is Cookie. Cookie is coming over there, and not just for the show, but apparently, that's how the ladies are getting their tea about Karen. Karen has not seen or talked to them. They are going through Cookie to get updates on Karen post-prison. And she said Cookie and Giselle are best friends. Look at Cookie. She is not Giselle's best friend. Where did she come from? Monique says she's the one that introduced Karen to Cookie in the first place. So Cookie was at one of Chris's birthday parties. So did Chris know Cookie first? Is Chrissy one of Cookie? Is Cookie one of these ladies that's just been hanging around for years waiting on Chris Samuels to pick her, and he picked Monique, and so she hates Monique? Now he's picking Stacy and he hates her too. But he keeps on calling her and leaving her lingering around because she probably, it's the worship thing. He knows that that Cookie worships him. So he keep her around for the worship of it all. It's probably a joke behind the closed doors. Like, watch, I can make Cookie go bring me some Burger King. Because she do whatever it takes to be in my space. Monique said Cookie has a demonic entity. I said, whoa, demonic entity. What do Monique look like down here with this? She bad as Stacy. They both look like they're carrying around them beer jugs over there in Germany. It's not giving African. It's definitely, giving barmaid Monique. I don't know, girl. It's not better than the plain white background. Last time she was dressed like a Beyonce background dancer. This time she's dressed like, what do they call it? Oktoberfest. Demonic entity. That's wild. She also tells Wendy to keep an eye on Stacy since Stacy going around here, single white female copying her, what she trying to do and everything. I don't think Wendy she know what Stacy is up to, so she ain't worried about Stacy. As long as she stay away from around Eddie, I suppose Stacy might be smarter than that, unless we find out some dirt on Timu. Speaking of, Tia meets Stacy and her husband Timu at the community pool. Is this what we doing? We over at the community pool at 5 o'clock. And she said she had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come over here for this the meetup. Why? Why am I doing that? I'm not meeting you and your husband at the community pool. If she couldn't come to lunch, but Tia went over there to be nosy. That's what Tia went over there to get the tea, because they sat up there and told Tia that she went and called Chris and told him what Monique said over there at the table, being vulnerable and letting walls down and all. Stacy said Tia hasn't been judgmental of her, and because Timo is apprehensive about full on meeting all these people, that she believes that Tia is somewhat of a soft launch. She don't know too much. She won't be over here judging my husband. I mean, I guess he seems very uncomfortable. Timo feels like a fish out of water. He's not very conversational. He just stands there and stares at, what's that little girl's name? Abuela, whatever her name. What, I forget her name. I shouldn't, the way Stacy says it. But anyway, I think he also he feels like if he comes around, they're gonna be questioning him about all the TJ foolishness that was going on last season. And he's don't want any parts of that. I think neither him nor Stacy want to give the ladies a chance to get at Timo and ask him questions. We know she lied, but yeah, I don't blame y'all. Stay away from them people. Tia wants to invite them to a dinner. She said that her and her husband and Eddie and Stacy is friends with Wendy. So Wendy and Eddie are coming to dinner, and Timu said he gotta go. He ain't gonna be here. He gotta be out of the country tomorrow. And he coming back in the country tomorrow too. Timo be lying just like Stacy be lying. So I don't know where he disappeared to. He was probably like, please, just let me just go sit over there and watch Abuela. What's that little girl's name? I'm not gonna keep being disrespectful and mispronouncing her name, but the way Stacy says it, I don't know. Gabriella. Is it Gabriella? I don't know. Anyway, he went over there to watch her swim over at the community pool. Tia, in the meantime, she's trying to get some tea and starts questioning Stacy about Chris. So how do you know Chris? And she was like, I mean, I know him. Why are you asking Stacy about Chris? Her husband is there. Did he leave? It feels weird. Like, I wouldn't want to be sitting here talking about Chris when Tima walk up and then you over here talking about Chris Samuels. Girl, and now you're making it seem like Stacy is avoiding the conversation. She absolutely is. Timo is right there. How do you know him? Stacy's like casually, basically, I know him from around. I don't believe her. Why? Because they said don't believe her. And how come, when people get divorced, I feel like they date around. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that there was anything. She's admitted to what it is. She hasn't admitted to smashing the man, but I don't think she has to. She know him casually can mean a lot of things. We hung out, whatever, and whatever happened, but nothing serious came of it. Do you want me to give you details of the night I went over to Chris Samuel's house and let him have it? I'm not telling you all that. Good grief. I don't believe her. Okay, well then don't, child. Like I said, Monique said what she said in front of the camera. I don't even understand. Y'all are making such a big deal out of something that he was going to see anyway. So she was big. Was she being that vulnerable? Not in private, she wasn't. Stacy said Timu was not comfortable meeting everyone else, and I see why he isn't. But again, Stacy told her in that moment over there at the community pool, he is not comfortable meeting everyone else. That's it. Like, is Tia, you acting like she hiding sometimes. You're lying. She's not lying. She told you. She told you the man don't really want to meet all these people. Anyway, her and Eddie, her husband Eddie and Wendy meet up for dinner. This was a cute, actually, little get together. It wasn't messy. I see how Eddie and I forget her husband's name. Tia's husband, they seem like the same age group. If we're having get-togethers and things, these two people seem like they would be able to hang out with one another. Timu, not so much. You think Timu will be comfortable in this environment? I don't think so. He doesn't seem comfortable, period. Um, it's a cute little couple's nights though, the Nigerian connection. Tia reveals that when she met her husband, she lied about her age. So you be over here lying too while you calling Stacy a liar? You lied about how old you were to the man? And why hasn't she ever been to Chicago? Now, I think that's strange. I think in all these years, because first of all, Chicago is a great city. Um, I don't understand why in all these years, like you haven't taken your kids to Chicago. Tia, since you want to be all up in the business, please tell us more about how your husband doesn't want you to go to Chicago. Talking about, I tell everyone, like, if you go to Chicago and you're not from there, they're going to smell it and they'll come get you. Stop it. What part of Chicago? We not telling you to go down to Shy with Candy and them. We know Chicago. Go on the side where Oprah and Michael Jordan be. Come on, Tia's husband. You haven't taken her to Chicago, and that little girl of yours could for sure handle herself in Chicago. She been, maybe it's just Tia. I just thought that was strange for them to be married so long, and she's never visited Chicago. Chicago, New York, LA. There's some cities where you're from where it just makes sense to go there. We ain't say Stacy went to find this man over in Germany. Anyway, when Wendy found out that Tia met Timu, um, she felt the way because Tia told her that Stacy said she felt like she was the safest person to introduce her family to. She did say that. I don't think she considered Wendy like that, and there's no circumstances where Timu really is gonna like. Was Wendy coming down to the community pool? Probably not. Not just to meet Timu. So it was the right choice. You know what I'm saying? Who else was she gonna ask? But she had to introduce this man to the show some type of way. And he was like, 20 minutes. 20 minutes is all I can do it. Then I got to leave the country, but I'll be back at 5 o'clock. That's what happened. Wendy called her on the phone, called Stacy, and Stacy pretty much was like, Tia, why are you trying to start mess between me and Wendy? They wasn't even like that. Where they said he left out the country. He did, but he's back now. She be lying like I don't really give a shit. Let me just say that I'm just gonna say anything and watch how they spin out of control, and they do. But like I said, she was honest with you, Tia, and told you her husband wasn't comfortable meeting all these people and filming. This is all a lie. Your husband, clearly he's comfortable with it, and he's not like doing too much. He's just more comfortable in his skin. He didn't just have somebody saying his wife was smashing somebody else last season too. Like when you got a lie and you don't know what lies Stacey told because she's kind of like random with her lies. She doesn't plan them out at all. They just come out of her head and she runs with it. And whenever she's confronted about it, she just goes, "What are you talking about?" So, that's different. These two don't have nothing to hide necessarily, except for the part about why that lady's never been to Chicago. But yeah, we'll revisit that. Okay, Tia. Um, yeah, the whole he's here, he's not here stuff. What else was going on over here at this dinner? Oh, Tia started telling Wendy how Angel was upset with her because when they got to the airport, she ignored her. I guess they talking about things that they didn't get a chance to discuss when they were over in Nevis. We have seen the footage of Wendy saying hello. I don't know what it was. Was she supposed to get down on one knee and kiss the ring, Angel? I don't know what you wanted from her. And I personally like when you're getting ready to travel, depending on what time of morning it is, I'm not a chatterbox. So, hey, girl, I'm still over here sipping on this tea, trying to keep my throat and everything clear. Because traveling, and Wendy already wasn't feeling good. Remember, she got over there and was sick. So, Angel, maybe she just didn't feel all of that. What else do you think I want? And she's still upset about the catfish thing, even though Giselle said it. Wendy was like, I did not say it. I was just explaining to her what Giselle meant by catfish. And I think somebody who speaks with such a large vocabulary as Angel understands exactly what was going on. She just wants to be a part of the clique over there, the paper bag clan. And it's just Wendy is an easy target. They kill me like coming on a season later, attacking the person that got attacked 2 seasons ago. And you know, she got your girl Kiana over here, who Kiana is not light skinned, but she also is somebody who benefits from pretty privilege. So it, you know, there's kind of like different levels to this thing. So she'll have no problem. You know, she wants to drop Wendy and align herself with Giselle. And in doing that, you know, you have to Wendy. And Wendy has a fine, her and Giselle are fine. So the way they plan things over here is so nonsensical. Y'all be missing out on stuff I think that could actually make sense. It's the only one that caught up in the foolishness of pledging Giselle is Stacy. Stacy is on the island by herself, and she came with a long oar, so she just keeps swatting them bitches off every time they come after her. We're down to the Shady Podcast, and the guests are arriving. Giselle has orange hair and a platinum blonde ponytail, and Cal, is that her hairdresser? Tell the people you don't do her hair because I don't know. Like, if I did her hair, that would drive me damn crazy all night long. Like, if you were going to give her the platinum ponytail, throw a couple few of them orange lowlights in there so the thing don't look like she's stuck it on the back of her head. She looks like pull the tail off the donkey. Angel came in, you know, she rolled up in there grinning, trying to give her best I'm so happy face. Begging Giselle for, I would love for us to have a chance to start on another new foot. And yeah, Giselle's like, girl, okay, it's fine. You still back over there in catfish. Giselle has not thought about catfish since it came out of her mouth. And you turning around trying to make it seem like she was body shaming you, and she apologized if that's how you felt, but she did not body shame you. She called you out on bullshit, Angel. You can't be mad if somebody called you a catfish when that's what you are. Even Bobby knows it. I could tell by the look in his eye. He's like, please stop talking about this. Angel said, you've apologized and I've moved past it. But Angel, on the other hand, I did not like the way she was like, catfish. Is that what happened? That's not what happened. But, you know, maybe Angel needs a few more naps before she has clarity. She said her relationship with Wendy has devolved into mercurial nature. And Giselle's like, girl, mercurial what? What the hell does that mean? This is another example of Angel coming into somebody's celebration trying to sour up the mood. Do you think that lady, she has 10 million downloads. She's hosting this party. Her partner's not there. Like, when you're hosting a party, you got to be around, socializing, smiling for the people. It's a lot of work going on. You still want to talk about catfish? Next time, lady, then keep your face off the Facetune, and then you won't be having these conversations. Yosefo's arriving, and Wendy does not disappoint. This green dress and these finger waves is giving. Child. It's funny because Wendy enters the room and she's giving everything that Angel wishes she was given. I think Angel thinks that she's supposed to be treated some type of way just because she's a wag, but don't nobody care. Stacy speaks to everybody, and they're all acting weird, like they're holding on to some big secret that they're about to blow up on her. Girl, your secret it ain't a secret. Like I said, Robin's not there. She's in her feelings about, being fired from the show. And I never expected her to be there anyway. I'm like, Giselle, you thought she was going to come to this? You should have said she had to go out of the country today and she'll be back tomorrow. Stacy pulls Tia aside because, their last interaction was that conversation, down to date night with Wendy and Eddie. So she pulls her aside to have a conversation, but I don't know why she did that. Maybe they just needed to clear the way so the ladies could film this scene, because Stacy and Wendy and who was it? I'm having a brain fart. Stacy, Wendy, and Tia were standing at the table, but then before the conversation could start good, everybody else came and crowded around that table. Stacy tells Tia, you act different. You act different in private than you do in front of the group. I feel like who was accused of that? Angel was accused of that. Stacy, Wendy, that's their thing this season. They want to say people be acting different in private than in front of the group. I guess we don't know. Everybody doesn't know everybody. Tia is pointing out the lies of it all in regards to Timu having to leave and come back. And that's it, Tia. Tia is so worked up. I've given you the benefit of the doubt, and you lied, and you said your husband was going out to the country, and I like Tia, but that felt a little bit flat. It felt like you talking about, I've been nothing but a good friend to her. Okay, Shannon Bedore, you haven't. You don't know her like that. Give one example of you being a good friend to Wendy. Girl, y'all not Wendy, Stacy. I don't even know that y'all have actually interacted. They've talked about Stacy behind her back because Stacy has been the main piece of name in somebody's mouth. Keep Stacy's name out your Mickey Flicky mouth. Then you won't have all these problems. Child. Anyway. I'm irritated that Stacy's like Tia's acting like Stacy didn't tell her that man didn't really want to be around them people. But we're gonna act like it's all about a lie of traveling. They have a little back and forth. Nothing is really resolved. And so while they're trying to get their little tete-a-tete out the way, Kiana's like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to tell the part to Stacy about how Chris Samuels called. She's so passionate, like this has nothing to do with her. She's going to speak on behalf of Monique, who she just met the day before yesterday. And she's going to confront Stacy about the phone call from Chris to Cookie. She's so hyped. She's making herself look so ridiculous because, Kiara, this is none of your business and you're looking for. And Stacy does what she always does. Kiara was like, I was on the phone with Cookie and Chris said, you called over there telling him about bad sex, piece of meat. Stacy, what are you talking about? That's what she do when she like, what are you talking about? And now here come Cookie, because this is her moment. She waddle herself over there and she chimes in, looking at Stacy like Stacy's trying to steal her man. And Wendy is like, what? I'm not sure why we're discussing Monique, to be honest, when she's not here. And she said, first of all, Monique said, if this lady Cookie is in the part of the conversation, she ain't gonna have nothing to say about Monique anyway. So she's carrying around a demon entity spirit. And so, when she said that, Stacy pointed at Cookie. And Cookie said, don't you point your finger again at me from the other side of the table. And Stacy was like, well, let me come over here so I can point right at you where you can get real good and pointed at. And she got all rowdy and told the lady to go take a bath for funky ass. Y'all want me to believe that this little ghetto lady Cookie. Why people that carry that name Cookie always come in a lot of drama. Anytime they say Cookie, Cookie about to be, half pint of too muchness. Anyway, Detroit Stacy is in the house. Detroit Stacy said, if you need me to come over there and point at you, I will do that. But security or somebody remove Cookie from the scene. So that's where we left it, child. I don't know what's going to happen with the whole Chris Samuels of it all, but it seems silly. Is Monique coming back? I guess. I hope she doesn't wear that Oktoberfest outfit anymore. And that's it, y'all. Thank you for being patient with me. What's going on? I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I went on and on and on about myself and didn't even say nothing about happy Thanksgiving, y'all. My Thanksgiving was blessed in spite of, how I'm sick, my man's sick, the baby went around kissing everybody. Now everybody's sick and he's fine. Um, yeah, we enjoyed our Thanksgiving. Did y'all black out? I blacked out. Some of y'all didn't black out. I heard y'all ain't blacking out. Y'all, y'all will sacrifice your freedom for convenience. And if that's what it is, then I guess there's nothing I could do about that. Tomorrow is Sunday. Sunday is what is it? Love and Marriage Huntsville, Ready to Love. I will be back live for Ready to Love when we can get this holiday season kicked off right. In the meantime, y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.